Please take your seats. The program is about to begin. Thank you.
Good morning. If you want to come and take your seats, we'll go ahead and get started. Give you just a minute to get in your seats. All right. Well, once again, we welcome you here. What a great day as we worked with Alex from Alquist, prepping all of this. One thing that she did say, she'd guarantee us sunshine today. So you can see she has the power. Thank you, Alex, for all that's gone on, your team, Alquist. We appreciate this being set up. And thank you to each of you for being here today. What a historic moment for Farm Bureau. Something that's been talked about, decisions made that were vital and important to get to this part. So with that, again, we recognize all of you. We're not going to go through. I know there's dignitaries here and our boards here and others from Alquist and all of the other groups. We appreciate you being here. And Governor, we appreciate you. We appreciate your leadership for this great state. And thank you for our relationship. Enjoy visiting with the governor of this great state and having a great working relationship as an organization, general farm organization that Farm Bureau is. So with that, Governor, we'll give the microphone to you for a few minutes. He said he had 45 minutes. So.
Yeah, I do. Well, thank you. You know, it's great to be here. The Farm Bureau's been in this location for a long time, and one thing we all know is Idaho's changing. Maybe a little faster than some of us want it, but that's why this organization is so important. As the demographics, the population changes, one of the things I always tell my farmer and rancher friends is whether you like it or not, policy matters. And if you're not at the table, which Farm Bureau is, you might be on the menu. The Idaho Farm Bureau is always at the table. This building, all the hard work that goes there, the representation in the State House, with all the state agencies, with the federal, the Farm Bureau is always here. My goal from the get-go when I got this job was I want to make Idaho the best place for everyone to thrive and for our children to choose to stay here. That's never more important than it is in agriculture. Because besides raising milk and potatoes and grain, fill in the blank, the most important thing we can raise is successful young farmers, and the Farm Bureau does a great job. So, Brian, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Governor. Appreciate that. Just a little bit about why this building and a little bit of the history of what it took to get to this point today. As the governor mentioned, Farm Bureau is a policy organization. Our policy is not set by the president. It's not set by necessarily the board of directors. It's set by members all over this state. We also have national policy that's set nationally by Farm Bureau, County Farm Bureau members. That's why it's strong. That's why we're focused on policy. And that's why we need a building. So just a little bit of history. When did this building behind us, when did we come and how did that happen? That happened in 1991. And Kara sent me the minutes when I said, what dates were some of these things that happened? She sent me some of the minutes. So I'm going to refer to them. In 1991, the executive committee for the Idaho Farm Bureau Federation sat down, and our insurance company owned this building. And they negotiated a price, terms, to purchase it. They then took that to the board of directors, and my predecessor, Frank Priestley, made the motion that they accept the executive committee's recommendation to purchase this building. We did that. And as we went forward, we always talked about someday we need more space. Where you're sitting back here, where the camera's on, there was a little dialysis building that was there. So we had a little bit of parking, and we were growing. So the conversation was, someday we've got to build a building. And as we progressed along, we had conversations to be able to move the church out of here. And as that conversation went along, they didn't want to sell, then we didn't want to buy, because we gained a whole like 4 parking spots. So you had those conversations in the boardroom like, why would we spend the money for 4 parking spots? And others were the vision of, what will that mean someday to build a building? That decision was made in 2007, and it was purchased. It was loaded on a truck, and it was shipped away, and we used those 4 spaces, and that was still about 4 or 14 spaces too few. So the conversations continued. There was actually plans to put a new building here. They were actually drawn up. They were referred to, they were discussed, that, we could build a building. But where are you going to park? And how are you going to accomplish that? So it never got a lot of traction to really have the solution. Along came the year 2018, and in 2018, the building behind you was going up on the auction block for sale. In that discussion, again, the board was presented information, and a lot of discussion pursued. And we decided on a cap. We were going to send the treasurer over. We were at convention in Fort Hall in Pocatello at the time, that he was going to be given a cap of how high he could bid. We set that cap just about, and just before we were about to vote, one of the board members, who happens to be a representative today, Representative Dan Garner, said, whoa, 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 hold on here a minute, and used the farmer mentality that's referred to, Governor, and he said, this is like the farm next door. And when you say the farm next door, it's worth more money. So then engaged again in conversation, and that cap was raised significantly. So Tyler Zollinger came, he began to bid, he was bidding, and he actually got to where we'd set our first level, or was gonna set it, and the bidding actually started slowing down. It looked like he was gonna get it close to that. And then all of a sudden it took off again. And it went and went. And as Tyler raised his hand for the last time that he was authorized to bid, there was not another bid. Thank goodness he was praying and crossing his fingers, because we had the opportunity to purchase the building behind you. So since that time, the conversation again is, someday we need to build a building. Why? Why would Farm Bureau need a building? We're policy driven. We're member driven. We're driven by our members. We represent our members. Because of the location to a capital, we need open doors to the capital, and they can come our way so that we can have legislators who we can sit down with. Our members can come to their building and have opportunities to have conversations. Agencies, other ag organizations, and the likes can all have an opportunity to come to a building that will be a landmark for decades into the future, and be able to sit down and have those conversations so that we can protect and promote agriculture. Because not every law that passes across the street benefits agriculture. And so with our policy and that member-driven and professionals as well who lobby on behalf of what we're doing on a daily basis. So when we say why a building, it's for our members, it's for our policy, it's for the future. We have a partner in this. As we went to this and said, how do we utilize every square inch of this half block that we have? It was, well, we need to go up, but that kind of got out of our price range. And so we visited with a partner. We visited with a couple on presentations, and through that, Alquist was chosen to be a partner in this. Thank you, Tommy, and your team. Has been nothing but a privilege to work with them. As with any project, you can be guaranteed there'll be delays, obstacles, and the likes, and we face those. And thank you for helping us as we went through that. I'm a farmer. I'm not a developer. And our employees that are hired, they're not developers. They're focused on the members and the policy of this great organization. And so having a partner that understands that process. I see LCA here. We spent many hours across the street, didn't we? You saw every size of building you can imagine, 10,000 square feet, 20,000, let's go to 10, let's go to 30. It was like an auction, going on. This building will be over 70,000 square feet. It'll have parking for pickups. So find parking in this town for pickups. It'll be a place where we'll have adequate parking to be able to host the things that need to be done and allow other individuals to come in and out on an open door policy. There'll be rental space, there'll be things that'll go on, but it'll always be known as the Farm Bureau building. That's why the decisions, the wisdom, the vision of so many people through the years, I take my hat off to all of them. And we had discussions all the way from, it'd be stupid to pay all that money to get 4 or 5 parking spaces. Can you imagine trying to build around something that somebody said, sorry, we're not going to sell? That vision has got us today where we're at, and we look forward to that. So again, we appreciate all the partners, and I'll let Tommy kind of identify them. I want to just introduce Tommy Alquist. Just been a privilege to work with him, his team all along the way. It's been over backwards for us. So please help me in welcoming Tommy.
Thank you, Brian. What a great day. Some of these, it's all hard, and it takes so long to get to this point. There's so many hours and so much work that goes in. So we just want to start. I want to start by thanking Governor Little. We live in the greatest state. We know this in the country, in the greatest country in the history of this planet. And we keep it that way because of great leadership. Thank you, Governor. I was able to be with him and his constitutional officers last night, and went home from that event just thinking how blessed we are to live where we do, have the leadership we do. So thank you for being here. We do a lot of work with a lot of people in a lot of different industries. And I got to tell you, without a doubt, working with your group, the integrity, the people who you have, it's been one of the finest groups we've ever worked with, and we're just honored to be here with you. We're honored to be part of this. This building is going to be spectacular. I know it's been a lot of work getting to here, but we cannot wait to watch this come out of the ground and what it's going to add to the downtown. Now, sometimes we wish it wasn't in the jurisdiction of Boise, but that's part of the plan here, and we're through it. And actually, I want to thank, I know there was a couple of council members here that said hi, but ultimately, they end up working with us through the process, and we really appreciate them. But thank you to President Searle, thank you to Zach, thank you to the board, everyone we've been interacted with. Richard, thank you so much. Getting to this day is a big deal, and we will not let you down. There'll be dirt moving here soon and a building coming up, and we can't wait to deliver. We want to thank those that have worked so hard. Alexis and your team at LCA Architects, just unbelievable group. We've got the right architect on the job. Lee Harrison with Axioms, a structural engineer, making sure, hey, if those parking stalls don't fit an F-250, Lee, raise your hand. He's the guy to blame right there. That's your guy. We've told them we want to make sure this thing parks American cars. That's great. Jordan Yankovich will be our interior designer on this project. Jordan, where are you? She's fantastic. When you guys see what we're doing with the lobby and what's going to make this place special, it's going to be unbelievable. I'm as excited about this building as any I've ever done. And then McIlvain Companies. This building is as good as those who build it. And for them and all the subcontractors that are going to work on this, we appreciate the partnership. We can't wait to watch this thing happen, and just especially for the last few weeks, guys, thank you very much for what you're doing and how you've come together to make this happen. Finally, our team, I think Ryan cleverly's seen Zach and your team more than he's seen his family sometimes through this, and it's been a lot of work, but thank you for all you've done. We're going to break some ground here and shovel and then eat lunch. I think everyone's been invited to the shovel line. There should be a hat with your name on it. And then Danny will take the lead from. These moments only happen every once in a while, so He'll tell us where to look and where to smile, and then there'll be plenty of time for everyone else to grab a shovel and take a picture too afterwards. But again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for what you've done to allow us to be part of this. The honor it is to be with you, and it's going to be a great building, and thank you again. Appreciate it.
That's like the longest shovel line ever.
It was. That's
Really convenient.
it's not. It's hard to get into the shop. But I think it's not like you need to have every.